Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Brokerpreneur Podcast. I am Dr. Ben Spears, the Doctor of Flow. I'm here with Chief Meteorologist and a big guy,
Right.
Matt Vi. How's it going, Matt?
Doing absolutely fantastic.
I was trying to think. Last time I was thinking about, rock me like a hurricane,
Uh-huh.
and all I can think of now is like Seminole wind. Maybe Against the Wind,
Yeah.
Bob Seger. I don't know. I can't
Hopefully not dust in the wind like
yeah,
Kansas.
exactly. We don't want to be dust in the wind. You're my boy, Blue. So how's it going, Matt?
Doing absolutely fantastic, Ben.
I love
absolutely
it. What are we talking about today?
Yeah, so be patient with your recruiting is the big picture here, right? So
Okay.
Big huge topic. We're going to touch on little pieces of it, but a lot to this. We're going to try to unpack some of it.
Yep, I like it.
Yep.
Well, guys, before we dive into that, make sure wherever you're listening to this, you hit that follow button, that subscribe button. Go to brokerpreneurpodcast.com. Check out our Brokerpreneur Fast Track. Right there on the home page. You can take a sneak peek. We'd absolutely love for you guys to go and do that, and then give us some feedback on what you think about the video. It's short, it's like 6 minutes. Watch it, and hopefully just blow your mind. So Matt, it's about the follow up, man.
It is.
Right? The fortunes. I'm gonna make something up that nobody's ever heard.
Uh-oh.
The fortunes in the follow up.
Yeah, nobody's ever heard that.
As Ben Spears.
Right.
It's not it's not about the initial.
Circa 2022.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's like 900 years old.
Right,
The
I'm sure it
cavemen
is.
were saying that. But
You want to eat dinosaur or not?
yeah,
we got to follow up.
Follow up that dinosaur. It's not about the initial contact. It's all it's about the follow up.
Yep. So when we talk about being patient in your recruiting, so a lot of times there's goals set. Sometimes they're set by you. Sometimes they're set by other people.
Right.
And especially if you're not hitting those goals, right? All of a sudden you feel like there's a whole bunch of pressure to go ahead and do something to accelerate the accomplishment of those goals.
Absolutely.
And so we make a bunch of initial follow-ups, right?
Yeah.
And so what the initial follow-up is basically doing, the more initial follow-ups that you make, the more you're trying to get right now business.
Okay.
Okay. So that means, if I have a good conversation with somebody or I don't have a conversation with somebody, let's say that I call 10 people. Okay. 8 of them I just leave a voicemail, right? Don't talk to them.
Right.
And 2 of them I actually talk to. One tells me to go to hell. The other one says they're happy where they're at, right? So I've reached out to 10 people. There's 8 people in there, and I would argue there's 10 people in there, but there's 8 people in there that some follow-up might be the perfect thing if
Absolutely.
you follow up the right way with them. Instead of just going, okay, it's time to go get the next 10.
Yeah.
When I go after the next 10, what I'm doing is I'm looking for right now business. There's no issue with that. Okay. So absolutely that if that's what you love and if that's what you want to do, I want you to do that. Okay. Bottom line, if you're building a process for recruiting, you have to make less and less initial follow-ups in the long run if you follow a smart system like what we talk about doing.
Right.
And so let's say that there's 10 people, okay? And then next week there's 10 more people, and the next week there's 10 more people, and then the next week there's 10 more people, and let's say that our ratios stay the same, okay? So every week that's one go to hell and one I'm happy where I'm at that maybe you follow up with because you actually talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll try 1 or 2 more times with those 8, and if they don't get those 8, they move on to them with the next group. They don't go back and say the next week, okay, I'm going to try to reach back out and connect with those 8 at a more valuable level. And then because if they did that, then after 10 weeks, you would have 80 people that you're doing that with for the most part, unless somebody told you to flip off, right?
Yep.
And then you would have the hell no's, right?
Yep.
And so we're down a little bit of people on that from who we need to stay in contact with. But then we have those other ones that said that they're happy where they're at. Okay, where they're happy where they're at is just like a commission objection whenever you get that. That is a matter of understanding, and it needs to be clarified.
Yeah.
Okay. So over a 10-week period, now you've got 80 of those people that are in that group. That's someone that you have to do some kind of follow up with to see where they fall. Are they a yes? Or are they a no? Or are they a maybe? But what happens a lot of time is we reach back into a brand new group of people. Okay?
Right.
So we have people that help out with outbound calls, right? So there's a lot to it, but let's just say we have people that help out with outbound calls. When we originally hired the people that help our clients with the outbound calls, the staff that does the calling was like, well, do I call these people 2 times or 3 times before I move on to the next person?
Right.
I'm like, no way, man.
Yeah.
We just had somebody that we called 13 times that we reached out to.
Yep.
Over probably a 4-month period before they finally set the appointment to meet with the broker, right?
Yeah.
Now, in between then, it wasn't just a phone call. I cannot stress how important this part is. When I say be patient about something, that doesn't mean call them 13 times and hope that at one of those times they pick up. In between, we were sending them things that are value based, so that person has some type of exposure with that broker. Broker was also reaching out. So there was a total of that many contacts. So they were really patient with that person. This person's a productive person, right? This is somebody that's going to hopefully transition to that broker, but they're going to bring production along with them. So that means that it took, and I don't know the exact number off the top of my head with this example, but we did not talk to them many times.
Right.
We might have talked to them once or twice.
Oh yeah.
Right. And a lot of times you'll get.
It wasn't 13 go to hells.
That's exactly right. That's right. And it wasn't 13, I'm happy where I'm at. And it wasn't 13, call me tomorrow. Right. So many times, people will reach out to somebody, they'll text somebody and the person will say, yeah, I'm on the way to a showing, or I'm on the way to a closing, or I'm on the way to whatever. And they'll, and they'll go, oh, okay, how about if I reach out to you tomorrow? Well, tomorrow comes and and you reach out to them. If you do, which a lot of people do not.
Yep.
Whole different conversation. Let's say that the manager reaches back out to them and they don't respond. What is the manager thinking? What creeps in their head? Oh man, they were just putting me off.
Yeah.
Right? They were just, okay. So maybe I'll call later. Right. And then they try again later, and then they try again later. Well, if you're reaching out with the same exact conversation and saying the same exact thing, then all you're telling them is, you're a number to me, you're a number to me, you're a number to me, you're a number to me. So whenever we talk about follow-up, keep in mind, we don't just mean send the same exact message 96 times. Have the same exact conversations 96 times. Send the same text 96 times. Send the same email 96 times. That's not what we're saying. We're saying deliver value to them and stay persistent. And one of those things that you deliver value is going to resonate with them.
Yeah.
We have people all the time that we reached out to that never talked to us on behalf of a client, reached out, never talked to us, went to a different company, and then 6 months or a year later come back and go to the brokerage that we're working with, because we stayed connected with them and just continued to deliver value.
Absolutely.
Right. And so whenever I say deliver value, keep in mind, not talking about coupons.
Right.
Right. I'm not talking about, excuse me. I'm not talking about things that they don't want or don't have anything to do with the market. And I'm not talking about sending them things like, hey, here's what's going on with the market, and sending them some market share shit that they can get from the MLS themselves.
Right.
You have to really dig in, and you really have to be valuable, and it has to be something that's relevant. That's what you patiently follow up with. And that is what's going to convert more, because you're going to rent space in their head until the time comes when the person actually wants to make a transition. So many times that's what happens. You have to begin the conversation with them, let them marinate on it a little bit, and then at some point they're like, okay, maybe we'll talk a little bit about this, because something happens in their life, or something, or you got them thinking.
Yeah.
Or something happened, they had a bunch of transactions. They just had to wait till those blew over, right?
Yeah.
You want to be the option for them when the time comes for them to choose. And that's why I'm begging people, just be patient.
Hey guys, this episode of the Brokerpreneur podcast is brought to you by the Speculo Group. The Speculo Group is the turnkey solution for agent and brokerage lead generation. With a focus on generating the highest quality leads from platforms like Google, YouTube, Facebook, and more, the Speculo Group is your one-stop shop to dominating your local market and beyond. Visit their website for more information at thespeculogroup.com.
Oh, for sure. I have a question.
Yep.
And this is a little bit off topic, but I'm just it just got me thinking. You were talking about, some people are like, hey, I'm happy where I'm at. Some people are like, hey, go to hell. Of course, there are people that are like, yeah, tell me more.
Right.
But do you think that the go to hell people you think they just started like that, or do you think it's just because in my mind I'm thinking, I don't know, my first recruiting call that I would ever get from a broker, I don't know if I would start with, man, go to hell. But I think if I would get calls from 10 brokers and they were like, yeah, I'll follow up with you and I'll do this and I'll do that. And then they never follow up. I think at that point, that's when I would be like,
yeah,
what the hell? And from now on, just be like, man, go to hell. You guys always call me and tell me this stuff. And then you never follow up or you never do anything, never follow through.
Let's talk about the go to hell for just a second.
Yeah.
Okay. So good question. So here's when I would think that comes into play. Okay. So this is just an educated guess. One is whenever the person is getting, like if they're a brand new agent or they're just getting licensed and they get 96 calls.
Yeah.
Okay. That's one of them where you get to go to hell.
In town. Yeah.
Absolutely. The second one is when you get so think about a seller for just a second that puts their house for sale by owner.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's say that a brokerage, the main way that they train agents to get business is to call in for sale by owners, and they train the entire office to do it the same exact way. Okay. So now all of a sudden the seller gets a phone call from somebody that says, hey, I'm with Billy Bob Realty. I noticed that your property went on the market today. I just wanted to reach out. The first one, the seller's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm going to sell it myself. 5 minutes later, they get another phone call from another person that says, hey, I'm with Billy Bob Realty. I'm so-and-so. And the guy's like, hey, somebody from there just called me, right? So cut it out. After 3 or 4 of those calls like that, they're like, go to hell. You need to take me off your list. Quit calling. Well, the same thing happens from a recruiting perspective, right?
Yeah.
That same exact thing. So if you're calling and reaching out and you're having that same exact conversation, or if someone reaches out from the same company or the same brand, I'd love for it to be different than this, but it's not. The same company or the same brand, and you turn around and you're using the same script and everybody's just going down a list calling, man, that's when you get those go to hells. Right. When you get those. That's when you get those. Hey, you need to leave me alone. You need to take me off your list. And the danger there is, it's not the same list, right? Sometimes you've got 5, 10, 15 people from the same huge office calling these agents, and nobody's collaborating because they're all trying to recruit people under their, in their whatever. And so the next thing you know, you're getting these phone calls, right? So that's super dangerous, right?
Absolutely.
Because that creates that mindset of, man, you really are just going down a list, and why are you continuing to call me? I told somebody that said they're with the same company, 2 days ago to quit calling me, right?
Yeah.
That's when you get those go to hells.
Yeah.
Right. That's when for the most part, if somebody's the type of person that say go to hell, man, I would want that on the first phone call.
Oh, you know it. Yeah, please.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
As many times, so I cannot even tell you how many outbound recruiting calls I've made. I cannot even begin to guesstimate. Sure. Okay. I've had people, not go to hell, but, be pretty curt about it. Right.
Yeah.
For the most part, that is such a small percentage of the time.
Oh, for sure.
Other than when it's those 2 examples that I just talked about.
Yeah.
Those 2 examples, you get it more often than you should, but the person is just exhausted from the disrespectful type of recruiting that's happening, right?
Yeah.
Just like the seller is whenever, 96 people from the same office call within a 3-hour period because at 8:30 in the morning they got their list from RedX, right?
Yeah, I get the same text, like identical, different name. Hey Ben, this is Amanda, or hey Ben, this is Angie, or hey Ben, this is Mark, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then it's the same thing after that. I work with members of the National Real Estate Association of Realtors. I got dyslexic there. National Real Estate Association, whatever that is. I work with NAR agents providing healthcare benefits. Would you like to schedule a time to talk about blah blah blah, or get a quote? And I get those like 2 to 3 times a day from different people.
Who would you never call back?
Yeah, those people. Never in a million years would I reach out. And, it's got to work, right? They're doing it. They're continuing doing it, so it's got to work in some form or fashion, I guess. But yeah, it's just I'm never the go to hell person.
Right.
Like that's just not me. But man, if I was,
that
would be who I would say it to.
Yeah, that'd be the target. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we talk a lot about video.
Yep.
And and we definitely talk a lot about recruiting. Let's talk a little bit about retention as well with this one, because when it comes to when it comes to follow up, there's no better tool really.
Absolutely.
Than video.
Yeah. So I would so absolutely 100% video would be a big part of my follow up with recruiting. So go back to that, what we were just talking about with initial. This is why this is kind of all in the same podcast, right? So go back to that initial contact and then go back to that follow up. The danger so many times is that we get bored with the follow up. Yes. Right? We talk ourselves into what's going on. The person's just not paying attention to it, right? The recruit's just like, yeah, that doesn't matter. Or when it comes to retention, the agent in your office, right? They get the text or they get the email and they think everybody's getting the same exact one.
Yeah.
Video is such a great way of making sure that they know that that's not the case.
Yeah.
Right. Hold up your phone. Use BombBomb. Use Videolicious. Use blah blah blah. Fill in the blank. Right.
Yeah.
Something hopefully that would track it, by the way, though, not just right.
Yeah.
So, okay. So if you're texting, which I think is a great way of doing it, you make the outbound phone call first. As soon as you hang up with the outbound phone call, you pick up your phone and you text to that same number, and you do a quick video, no more than 7 seconds, 10 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Hey, Dr. Ben, this is Matt. I just left you a message. Just wanted to connect with you. I'd love to talk a little bit more about real estate and what's going on in your neck of the woods. Give me a call back when you get a couple minutes. Let's catch up.
Yep.
That's it. Notice that I said your name, all that kind of stuff, right? Okay. So there are absolutely services that you could be generic and say, hey, I just left you a message, wanted to reach out and just connect with you. Okay, if you want to use those and you're systematic about using those, go get them Tiger. If that's right, okay. I do not have an issue with that. If you wanted to drop like 100 of those after you made 100 outbound calls and texts and all that kind of stuff, right? The key here is putting your face with your name and in my opinion, saying their name. Right. Whenever you reach out to them, they're going to get that text. Now, there's a reason why I mentioned BombBomb. The reason why I mentioned Videolicious is instead of just through texting is if you go from Android to iPhone and iPhone to Android, there's the video quality is not always the same, right? And so I'm sure there's some incredible way of getting around all that and everything, but I don't know what it is, right?
Same.
It's a mess, yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you use a service like that, though, it allows you to be able to do that. The other thing is you can knock a whole bunch of them out, and it's an app on your phone, and so you can just push them out there. And the other thing is with BombBomb, which we don't get paid any affiliate fees if you want to go sign up for BombBomb, guys. If you're BombBomb gives you the opportunity of it'll scroll the text on the screen as you're going through it, right?
Yeah, like a teleprompter.
Yeah, so you could hold it up and just say, hey, so and so, whatever, and have just a really cool script. That's a great follow up. Well, you do that the first time, and then the next week you follow up with, hey, Dr. Ben, this is Matt. I know we couldn't connect last week. I hope you're super busy with everything going on in real estate. By the way, there's a class coming up that a bunch of top producers are going to. I'd love to send you some information on that. Maybe let's check in over the next couple of days, see if that's of interest to you. Okay, hope you're doing great. Let's talk soon, right? And so now you have just some basic, simple follow up like that. If I'm an agent and I'm getting the same exact phone call from everybody. Hey, I know you're in the middle of your busy day. I'm going to interrupt you because I'm trying to hit my numbers, right? If I get that phone call over and over, and then the broker keeps calling me back doing the same thing, that gets me closer to hell no. That gives me closer, okay? But if somebody's reaching out and they're really honestly trying to help, okay, whether that person asks for it or needs it or whatever, good people are just going to look at that differently.
Absolutely.
And so that's what we want to make sure that we're doing is we're using video to do that. Now, from a retention standpoint, here's the main thing I'd say about retention. If you start with your recruiting process like that, you need to finish that way with your retention. Yeah. Don't use video in your recruiting and then not use video to follow up later in your retention. Yeah. Okay. So at that point, I would, send stuff out, hey, Dr. Ben, just wanted to say again, I love that new listing that you got and everything. We got a sales meeting on Tuesday. Would love to see it at the sales meeting if you can make it, but big picture, I just wanted to check in, see how things are going. Yeah. Send that out to your people, right? What are you going to get back from that? Right. Yeah. They can, it's real estate, accept, decline, or amend, right? Exactly. They can say, yeah, that's absolutely fabulous. Or no, I don't like getting videos from you, right? Which look out if they say that, or amend. I like how you did that video. Can you show me how to do that? Does that help with clients? And so what you're doing is you're opening that conversation up with your own staff to be able to help make them more effective.
Yeah. Yeah. From a recruiting standpoint, I just want to add this as well. When you're sending video, right, and someone's actually seeing your face, it's a lot easier to tell a voice over a phone, you know what, go to hell.
Right.
It's more difficult once you actually have seen that person's eyes.
Yep.
And you've seen their face to look at them, because psychologically they feel like, okay, like they've met you.
Right.
It's a lot more difficult to tell that person, go to hell.
Right. Absolutely. Completely agree.
Yeah.
And it personalizes it. It humanizes
Exactly.
it. Right. And so that's what we want. And that's going to help you with all the way around with everything that you do. So. Yeah,
for sure. And before we kind of wrap it up, I'll share the story from my real estate days of doing the open house and video getting me listings, because it's very similar when it comes to recruiting as well. I did an open house. Every time someone came to my open house, as soon as they left the door, as long as they put their correct phone number on the sheet and stuff, as soon as they left the house, I grabbed my phone, sent them a video. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, I really appreciate you coming into the open house. If there's anything I can ever do for you, I would absolutely love to. This is my personal cell phone number. Make sure you save this number. Any real estate question that you ever have, whether you use me or not, feel free to ask.
Uh-huh.
Right, and I would send that before, and then before they would get to their car, or at least out of the driveway, they would have that in their inbox. And I would always get a response, thank you so much. I appreciate that, because I was building rapport in the house.
Right.
And on multiple occasions, it ended up getting me listing appointments with those same people. And one of the guys specifically said, I told my wife, when I got to the listing appointment, this is who we're listing our house with.
Yeah.
Because this guy knows how to market.
Right.
Right. And so there's just different things that video accomplishes.
Right.
That nothing else does.
Right.
And from a recruiting standpoint, you would have to think that an agent is going to feel that same way of, well, I get these calls or these texts or these emails or whatever from every broker. Then all of a sudden they're getting a video from this broker.
This person took time.
Yeah, exactly. They said my name, right? This was personalized to me. And then maybe they've never gotten a video from the broker that they're with currently, right? If it's an experienced agent.
Right.
It just goes to show, like, a little bit of extra effort goes a long way.
Yeah, it's still the same text.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
And if they're trying to grow their business at all, if they're trying to make their business any better at all, they're hearing how important video is, and when you put that out there like that, they're going, wait a minute, this broker gets it.
Yeah. Yeah, and most of you guys are probably telling your agents that video is super important, and you're not using video.
Right. And so this allows you to kind of get comfortable using that.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome, Matt. Well, anything else before I put a little bow on it?
Nope.
All right.
I think we're good.
I don't really know all the words, but I was thinking, during the podcast, I think it was Bob Dylan sang a song about the hurricane, the boxer.
Oh, yeah.
It's a story about the hurricane. Man, the authorities came to claim.
Yeah.
There's something that he never done. Hey, guys, if you listen to this on, it's a different kind of hurricane.
Right.
If you listen to this on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, any of those platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. If you're watching this on YouTube, what's up? Hit that red subscribe button, that bell right beside it, to get notified every time we drop a new episode. Go to brokerpreneurpodcast.com. Check out all the cool things that Matt and I have to help you grow your brokerage, no matter what phase or stage of the business that you're in. Matt, we do these for one reason alone. Tell them what it is, brother.
Man, we just want to be part of your win.
Right.
Let us know how we can help, guys.